Hello and welcome to the Summer of Self-Love. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and with me in this episode is Denise Kavaliauskas. It's a mouthful, and she's the best. Welcome, Denise. It's good to have you on.
So happy to be here, Mia. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Denise is a fellow coach and also a friend of mine. It's interesting because it just occurred to me that people are probably going to be saying, wow, she has a lot of friends. Well, the smart people who are in an industry utilize and hang out with their friends. That's a good thing because we're like-minded and it's beautiful. You and I have done, we were just giggling before we hit the record button. She and I have done lots of talks that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they go by super fast. So we're going to jump into this because we know that this one's going to go by super fast too.
Yes.
So you share with us what brought you to self-love? What was your experience that led you into this beautiful journey to discover yourself?
Yeah, that's such a great question because I always say to people that I thought I loved myself in the past, right? My past life, I refer it to, because I got my nails done. I got my hair done. Like I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. So I took a shower every day. And I thought those were all the pieces to self-love. That meant I loved myself. Well, yeah, it's a part of it, but the deeper self-love came after I just want everybody to know, anytime you leave an abusive relationship, that is a huge monumental I love myself on the billboard. So I did that. But after that is when I really went into the self-love journey of like, oh, all those things that I just described was self-care. I care about myself, right? And then to love myself was to do the healing work from the 22-year past life, as I refer it to, and all of the things that went into that, and to really love myself and accept what happened. And just, the layers of self-love, because like I just described, that's a layer of self-love. So I really went deep into loving myself despite all the crap that happened in the past.
So what was the actual instigator that brought you?
Leaving the 22-year relationship, and then hiring my first empowerment coach, and having that realization that, yeah, doing all those things with self-care in a form of self-love, but really going into, I love myself even though I've been through XYZ, even though, because Mia, like I didn't even know what, because there was no physical abuse, I didn't know that I was actually in an abusive relationship. Hard pill for me at that time, and to know that I was an abused woman, hard pill to swallow. But after I had all those realizations, then I was like, well, what else is there? Self-love, right? Let's go, let's do this. Let's really, love myself. And then it just grew from there, just kept growing and growing and growing. Yeah.
And also, her focus is on relationships, narcissism, and also supporting people through divorces. So I like to share that because we all have our specialties aside from the self-love. And it's really important to know that there are people out there like you, Denise, that can help people in a loving way on that side of the fence. So definitely check out her work. It's in the email. So beautiful. Yeah. Share with us what 3 tools that you would recommend to your, I'm just going to say it, to your clients.
So pen to paper is the biggest thing that I share with my clients. Pen to paper. You can voicemail it in your phone. You can write it in the notes in your phone, but I always specifically say pen to paper to write out whatever comes up for me is what I give to my clients. So sometimes it's write a letter to your, inner child, the one that went through XYZ, right? Give her the acknowledgement and the love and the attention that she needed back then. Give it to her now. Write it out. Write out, I'm fucking pissed. I went through XYZ and it sucks, and write it out. Because what I tell my clients is that you're getting it out of your head and out of your body, right? Because when we have these thoughts in our head and they just circle round and round and round, it's kind of tormenting because we can't get out of it. And that's, for me, the best way to get it out of your mind, get it out of your body, and just release it. I tell my clients, even before you do pen to paper, set yourself up in a environment that, one, feels safe, two, is relaxing. Maybe light some candles, maybe put some soothing meditation music on. Sometimes I tell women, I say, hey, there's nothing wrong with hopping in your car, grab your favorite iced coffee, sit in your car by yourself and write stuff out. I've done that many, many times. So that's the number one thing that I tell people to do. Two other ones: mirror work, looking in the mirror and saying, like, really applauding yourself, like all the accomplishments that you've done, feeling gratitude for yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm so happy that, even if it's just, I'm so happy I'm not with that, person anymore. I'm so happy. And really looking into your eyes. So mirror work would be the second one. And then the third one would be gratitude. It is such a game changer. Gratitude. To express gratitude, like when you wake up in the morning, just name at least one thing that you're happy, for today or yesterday or right now or whatever. I'm happy that this, or I'm excited today's going to be the day I get interviewed by Mia. Like, whatever it is, just show gratitude, express gratitude as soon as you wake up in the morning. And then another add on to that would be before you go to bed at night, to fall asleep feeling grateful for your life, for whatever. And yeah, those would be my three tips.
Those are also very beautiful, very powerful. The pen to paper is like journaling, right? Journaling your thoughts,
Yes.
out. And also, let's talk a little bit about, in the journaling, in the getting out, to stay out rather than to suck it back in and to regurgitate it again and spew it somewhere else. That's what we do until we evolve our emotional intelligence out of that space. So do you have ideas or tips to move people through that space of, they've written it out, they feel great, and then all of a sudden they go back down, right? And then they're back cycle instead of stepping out of their cycle?
Yeah. So the thing that I share with them is two things. One is the map of consciousness. So I share with them the lower level emotions that we carry as humans, right? And then how to climb out of those lower level emotions into at least the middle section, which I color code them. The bottom red, like a traffic light, red, stop, because when we're in those emotions, we feel stuck in life. The middle ones are, I call it getting by. It's yellow, like a traffic light. You're like just getting by. And then the top one, where we all want to be, which is joy, peace, love, enlightenment, is in green. And I verbalize it as go, 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 because when you have a green light, you're go, go, go. And so the first thing I share with them is that it's normal. We're human. This is just part of the emotional, waves that we go through. And to help them climb out of the bottom red into at least the yellow, and then possibly even into the green, right? So that's one thing I share with them. And then I just drew a blank on the second one.
Well,
what was the question?
Your map of consciousness is really great. How to get out of, the question is how to get out of that space where you, I call it deep pockets, where you've fallen and you can't get up, right? So you're feeling good, and then all of a sudden you're like back to your old stuff and reliving your own stuff, regurgitating
that's
that information, the emotional stuff.
Yeah, that's a great question. So oh God, can we get trapped in that, right? It just cycles around and around. I did that for many, many years. So once they understand the map of consciousness and that we're human, it's normal, we have these emotions, I would say go to what, so the old version of you is the one, for example, for my clients, is the one who was stuck in that relationship, stuck in the fear, stuck in the shame, stuck in the guilt, right? The red. The new version of you, or the future version of you, is the one who experiences love, joy, peace in all areas of his or her life. So then I would say, the old version of you to the new version of you is you choose her, every day. So when you get stuck in those lower level emotions and you recognize that, then you can choose at any given moment to be in the future version of yourself or the new version of yourself, and write that out. Say, a great tool that my coach taught me was, I used to, then you can go, I used to feel guilt and shame, or fill in the blank. Now write this out. Now I choose love. I choose joy. I choose peace. I choose happiness, whatever it is. And just kind of have that one line. I used to, now I. Train your brain. That's the past. I don't choose that anymore. That's the past. Now I choose this.
Yeah. Wonderful. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mirror work. Many of us do mirror work, and it's beautiful. Are there any special tools that are different that you want to share about mirror work?
So much about mirror work. Louise Hay is the first one that I learned mirror work, and they call her like the godmother of personal growth, right? So I tell people, like, for me, first thing in the morning when I'm brushing my teeth, what am I doing? I'm looking right in the mirror. That is the perfect opportunity and the perfect time to say nice things about yourself, or affirm today's going to be a great day because da 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 da, whatever, as you're looking at yourself, brushing your teeth. And then also, I love sticky notes. So to remind ourselves of how amazing we are and how far we've come, to have just one-liners on a sticky note and have it in your mirror, in your bedroom or your car or your computer. I have sticky notes everywhere. And your bathroom mirror, and just, you don't have to plaster it, but like have one or two in each place in the mirror where you spend a lot of time. So yeah, sticky notes
Sticky
are great.
notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And now let's get into the gratitude, which is so juicy, right? And it elevates us up to a beautiful space of happiness and joy and love. And why wouldn't we want to stay there? Right.
Right.
So I'm going to let you lead off with, how do you ask your people to work on gratitude?
So what's coming up for me right now that I feel I need to share is Elizabeth Smart. She's the young girl that was kidnapped out of her bedroom. Do you remember that story?
Yes, yes.
And she was with her abductor for like 9 months or something like that. Well, I saw an interview on her, and she was saying that she believes one of the things that got her out of that situation was she was focusing on gratitude.
Mhm.
And she was focusing on the happy things that had happened in her life. So when we talk about gratitude, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I can't find something right now in my life that I'm grateful for. You can certainly go back to the past of maybe the birth of your child, or maybe a graduation, or whatever, just whatever you were happy with, and focus on that, because the more we feel good, the more we elevate. The more we feel good, the more we elevate. So the more thoughts that we feel good about, that we are focusing on, it elevates us. And she said, I would focus on my family and the birthdays, or whatever the good moments were for her. And that led her, it's like, the universe leaves these breadcrumbs, and that led her to be found and rescued and returned back to her family. So I'm like, dang, if Elizabeth Smart, who was in a horrible, horrible, horrible situation, and she was in that situation, because what does the ego do? It's like, I can't think of something fun or good. I'm in a effed up situation, or my life is shit. Well, then I would say, if Elizabeth Smart can do it, we can all do it. Yeah,
She was also young. She was not a
very.
she was not a grown woman with years of experience. So that's a very enlightened space, right? Space to be, place to
Mhm,
be. Gratitude is the highest connection to God, literally.
mhm.
Makes us feel happy, joyous, loved, right? So that's,
Yep,
and a lot of us use it for manifesting, to
yep,
bring in the energy to raise us up, to be at a different place. So that's really brilliant that this young woman did that. Or
yeah.
girl, she was still a girl.
She was like 14, I think.
Yeah, to me, that's still a girl,
Oh
right?
yeah, totally.
She had no clue what it's like in the real world outside of her own environment.
Right.
So brilliant to be able to do that. Yeah, to implement that in, whether it was
Yeah.
God telling her or her mother taught her that practice. And this was was it in the 80s or 90s?
I don't think it was the 80s because she's still very young. So
Yeah, but even
yeah.
then, to be able to create something like that, right? Gratitude
Mhm.
back then, amazing. I'm going to look it up as you take over for a minute. Do you gratitude journal with people?
Yes. Yes, I always share that with them. That's another thing that they can journal on is what are you happy for today? It doesn't have to be something that's happening today, but a thought that you can think of today that you are happy about. So, like for me, the first thing that I always go to is my wedding 3 years ago and marrying the man of my dreams on a beautiful North Carolina beach and how happy I was and how well, still am, but you know what I mean, on that day and how happy everybody else was. And it was June 2020. So we know what was going on in the world right at that time. And so 100 people had gathered from all over the United States and we were all dancing and eating and having fun. And it just like, as you can see, it just lights me up. So it doesn't have to be for the viewers. I just want everybody to know it doesn't have to be something that today, it can be a past something that happened to you, with you, for you, that it really lights you up. And just you focusing on that and feeling that and smiling and being in gratitude and like, oh man, that was the greatest day. That literally pulls you up to the higher levels on the map of consciousness, the higher emotions and the frequency and the vibration.
What I love about that, even bringing in a past experiences, you are taking the energy from that elation that you had into your place now where you can sit with it, work with it, and it can bring you up to create something else. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody studied her, they would know how Elizabeth's smart. Maybe she had some tools with her gratitude that helped her manifest or create her way out of that. So Elizabeth
Mm-hmm.
is 35 years old today. She was born in 1987, and at 14, that would have been around 2001. So
Mm-hmm.
really, really brilliant that literally that she was able to change who she is in that experience, because she's
Yeah.
not a girl who came from abuse, from what we
Right.
understand. So to be able to handle that was well done, Elizabeth. Seriously, well done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a story that is just mind blowing
The
for a
thing,
young girl to do that.
yeah, the thing about gratitude also is it takes us to a different energetic state, right? It raises our vibration to the alpha state. And so
Right.
humankind lives in the beta state for the most part, the unconscious, just doing and doing and doing. So when we're raising ourselves in gratitude, even just to get that flux of through our bodies, it's very powerful because I teach that when in creation or manifesting, when people are like, well, I can't imagine what it feels like to have a Ferrari sitting, me sitting in a Ferrari. Well, you better be able to if you're thinking those kind of thoughts. But when you bring up your gratitude from all your experiences, right, that give you that energetic boost, it teaches you how to propel it in your body further. So
Yeah.
I'm a really big proponent of gratitude, and have spent the last 3 years specifically in gratitude, and it does
Mhm.
change who you are. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
And for your viewers to know that to get into the mindset of gratitude or the feeling of gratitude, it does take practice. It does take practice, because when I was introduced to gratitude, it was somebody said 3 things that you're grateful for, or 5 things every night. And I was like, what? I can't think of. And now I'm like, holy moly, I can think of 500 things that I'm grateful for. But
Yeah.
that came with practice. That didn't start off that way. It came with practice. And so the ego, she loves to be a negative Nancy and a Debbie Downer. So she loves to go, we don't have, what do you think? There's something to be grateful. And so you just got to love her to the side. Just hold on a minute. Let's go there and let's keep pivoting to what we're grateful for.
Yeah.
The
Beautiful.
smallest things count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'd like you to share with us one last thing, because I don't want to close this out yet, but yet the time's running short. So what would you like to share with the audience before we say goodbye?
That you can do anything. You can do anything. Like, you can do anything. You can, there's no limits to what we can do. And as we move into like all of the juicy, wonderful things that are happening in the world, we're learning that we're so freaking powerful, and that we've just been shown how powerless we are, but that was a lie. We're so powerful. We can do anything. We can heal the past. We can heal our bodies. We can create anything we want. Like, we're so powerful. And to just like research that, dive into that, really know how powerful each of us really is, and that we can do anything.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us for this episode with Denise. It was awesome. Bye.
Yay.